It's time for Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
A look at the weirdest stories from our weirdest state.
A dude in Florida calls 911. He has phony suicidal thoughts. And the reason that he calls 911 with these suicidal thoughts is because he knew that the cops would come and that he could hitch a free ride to Tampa, everybody.
Wow.
I mean...
Ooh, it's a wild idea, but it just might work.
Yeah, he was hoping to get a free ride to Tampa. He called 911. Now, this is his booking photo, and on the show we have a booking photo meter. And you can't take into account what he's done. You simply have to evaluate this booking photo on any number of factors that you yourself bring to it. So you can assign on a 1 to 10 scale. This is a particularly interesting and special offering that this guy has given us for the booking photo. His hair is spiked up, for those who are just listening and not watching. And he's kind of got a distinct frown, and he just has a very interesting face. Kim, what do you think?
With the hair sticking up, the ears and the pouty pout, and the sad eyes, I think I'm going to give this one an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
An 8.
I'm amused. He amuses me.
Wow. A 9, says Francine. Wow, you guys.
Yeah.
Chico Shar says 6.
Okay.
What do you think, Albert?
It's pretty high up there. He looks like one of those. I'm walking through Alcatraz and I see one of the former inmates.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very good
You
call.
just need to if you grayscale this, he'd fit right in. It's a solid. Like I'd give it 8.5. So I'm gonna up.
Wow.
Oh,
Looks
wow.
like Buster Keaton, says Alan. I agree. He's got a Buster Keaton-ish look. He does look like a Norman Rockwell character, says B.A. Ware. Anyway, for those who are just listening, I do recommend that you check out this booking photo on the YouTube show just to see this guy we're talking about. I'll under pressure, I'll give him an 8 as well. So well done.
I think it's
anyway,
really,
he faked.
it's really difficult to look both defiant and sad at the same time. Don't you think?
Yeah. He looks. Yeah. He's one of those hugely expressive faces, which is what makes it interesting.
Yeah.
The deputy was responding to the call. The deputy that showed up to the Dollar General store on Palmetto Street in Poinciana, Florida, and the call was regarding a man who called 911, alleging that he was having suicidal thoughts. When the deputy spoke with him, though, he ultimately admitted to lying about the suicidal thoughts because he needed a place to spend the night. He was tired of living at his current residence, you see, in Poinciana, or however you say it, Poinciana. So he concocted this plan, you see. It was a big plan to call 911 about having suicidal thoughts so he could get the cops to then take him to Tampa. Once he was released, the plan went on. He thought this through. Got to give the guy credit. He planned to use their resources to set up transportation to get him on to Tampa, I see, to see, since his mom no longer wanted to drive from there to pick him up. He was usually dependent on his mom's rides. So,
How was he going to explain the duffel bag or the suitcase in the back?
Yeah, you're right.
Nothing about that?
You're right. He's the thing about just being booked in. Well, sometimes they'll let you take your stuff. So to be fair, he probably could get away with a backpack. Anyway, he's cooling his jets, as it turns out. A Florida man is arrested after walking into a bank to try to withdraw 1 cent. It was in Sumter County. He's facing felony robbery charges. It happened in the afternoon on a Chase Bank on US 441 in Lady Lake. This guy, Michael Fleming, walks into the bank, fills out a withdrawal slip for 1 cent. Man, handed it to the bank teller, and that look alone without the note is... On the booking photo meter, what do you say on this one, Kim?
He is crazy eye.
Oh, my
It's
God, yes.
kind of like Charles Manson Jr. Throw on the forehead thing, and they could be related. I just give the guy the penny and let him go. Like, get out of my area.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give this one. I'm gonna say, again, it's an 8.
Wow.
Yeah.
He leads with crazy eyes. I mean, this guy
Yeah.
is leading. The other guy was leading with kind of sad anger. Also an 8 for you, Albert. Does an 8 sound right?
No, since he couldn't get the penny, I'll give him an honorary 1. So he. Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 7. I'll just mention that one of the things about this guy is he looks like those guys they bring in for a makeover, and they shave him and they style his hair, and all of a sudden he looks like
And he's
Richard
like a beautiful
Gere.
man. Yeah,
Right,
yeah, somehow,
I think he does have a 666 look. Lee says that's absolutely true. But he does look as though you could pivot that look, man. You get that guy off the meth or whatever is making him look like that. Anyway. He walked into the bank, filled out a withdrawal slip for a penny, handed it to the bank teller, and the bank teller reportedly told him he can't withdraw a penny. He said, "Well, you want me to say the other word?" And I guess the conversation ensued, which involved robbery. Deputies arrived, and he was still inside the bank, taken into custody, transported to the Sumter County Sheriff's Office, where he agreed to speak with deputies after being Mirandized. He'll need $5,000 worth of pennies to get out of jail, where he is now. 41-year-old dude in jail with a bad plan. A wild video
Bad plan is right.
shows cops tracking down a Florida guy who tried to evade arrest, and this is increasingly the case, by swimming to a small island.
It's a great way to get a little exercise in the Florida sun.
I mean, a Florida man, he swam to a small island. He hid out after he allegedly assaulted his girlfriend with a vodka bottle. But the cops got him. How did they get him, you may ask? I mean, he swam away. Well, they got a special technology to deal with that water between them and the island. It's called a boat.
Oh.
And they went out and they arrested him. There he is. Jeriel Joyner is his name. And we'll get to his situation in a second. They searched the islands, which are just inland from the Atlantic, and they found him sleeping inside a green tent, ordered him to keep his hands up as they opened the tent, and then he was arrested. The booking photo on here, we have actual video of the cops getting off the boat, confronting him there in the tent. And when they confronted him, by the way, he said, "What's up? What's going on?"
I'm just camping over here. Don't worry about it.
So his booking photo, I think, is it's like in a 6 range. I would give it. I don't know.
I'll give it a 5.
He's kind of got pretty cool neck art going.
I don't know what it is. It's like a big blob on his neck.
It looks
That's
like a
why
panther. I don't know. It looks like it might be a panther or something. Like, it looked kind of cool to me. Or maybe it's I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to give him 5, 6, somewhere in that category.
Yeah.
And the story from Florida about gators will not disappoint. This is a guy who uses an alligator to open a beer can.
What?
And it goes wild.
Tell me there's video. Wow. Yes, there's video.
Yeah. And that is crazy.
Whoa. Are those teenagers?
Teenagers or teenager adjacent. Yeah.
Those boys
They have to be
crazy.
old enough to drink, I guess. So the idea was to go viral, and apparently it worked.
I might actually be more offended that it looked like he threw that beer can down back into the water.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah. But that's, I mean...
Well, if you want to get into the serious conversation around it, I don't like, the abuse of animals, using animals that way.
Total disregard for wildlife. No.
Yeah. But it's been a deadly period for people in Florida, and their relationship with gators, as you well know. A Florida man steals a pantry truck donated by Polk Sheriff Charities. That's Grady Judd's charity, everybody. And I'm telling you,
what he's got going here is a situation.
That's Grady Judd. It was filled with $25,000 worth of food. That's right. You don't mess with Grady. It was Jamie Hunt, 47 years old. There he is, Jamie, arrested. He was fired from Freedom Tour, a charity that uses mobile pantries to bring food to underserved communities, and he was fired for abusing drugs. But Hunt went to a church in Eloise to charge his scooter, and while his scooter was charging, Grady Judd said that Hunt jumped into a Freedom Tour box truck, which is donated by the Polk Sheriff's Charities. That's, again, headed up to by Grady, and drove to nearby Juanetta to visit friends. Judd said someone had left the keys inside the truck, which was filled with $25,000 worth of food. Mm-mm. While he was visiting with friends, he gave them some potato salad, Grady Judd said. Deputies found Hunt as he drove the truck back to the church in Eloise following a 911 call about the truck being stolen.
Hey, he's just borrowing it. Don't worry.
Judd said, well, I guess he's thinking no harm, no foul. But Hunt had an outstanding warrant for petty theft. He was also charged with grand theft of the truck, grand theft of $25,000 worth of food, driving with a suspended license, and burglary of an unoccupied structure. Jamie Hunt was then arrested and charged with all of those things. His booking photo meter, I'll give him a 6.5. No?
The way
maybe even a 7.
The angle at which he holds his head, I'll go 7. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 4 Florida women nabbed for stealing 24 Stanley Cups, lobster, champagne, and more.
That was a great Friday night.
It was a heist. They caught them, but they do have expensive tastes, these women.
They do.
They happened at 2 Winn-Dixie stores and 2 Ace Hardware stores in Nassau County. That's in northern Florida near Jacksonville. The women, Stacy Sullivan and Kaneki Hickson, Montavia Sullivan, and Trace Sullivan, stole an estimated $5,000 in merchandise. This reminds me of the movie that I'm in, Albert. Set It Off. Remember the women? They get together, they want to pull off a big heist. These women are not so different. They get together, they each have a specialty. And they begin their planning. Ace Hardware, they're on Minor Road in Yeilling. Then you go over to where the Stanley Cups are, hiding them under their shirts and in their bags.
Those are some pretty big cups to be hiding under shirts.
Well, they wore big shirts, Kim.
Oh, okay.
An off-duty lieutenant who heard an alert on their radio to be on the lookout for the suspect's car found the vehicle at an intersection. The suspects pulled into a Winn-Dixie then, the parking lot there nearby. But it was too late. They were taken into custody. Inside the vehicle, deputies uncovered multiple Stanley Cups and lobster tails, steak, crab meat, and other food products from Winn-Dixie, along with an array of champagne. Wow.
That sounds like a great night, and it just got ruined.
Yeah.
That's why I say they remind me of the Set It Off gang, because they were all living large for a little while.
Uncle Russ calls it the Florida job.
That's... I'll give them a collective booking photo meter, I don't know, maybe even a 7, 6.5. What do you think? No? Ricky has it as 5, 4, 3, and 2. All right.
I really like them. I think they're cool. I'm going to give them an 8.5. Yeah.
Oh, 8.5. Wow. Mm-hmm. The Florida 4, says B.A. Ware. Infamous. Well, ladies, you know where there's no lobster and champagne? In the joint. And that's where you're going.
Good day, sir.
Yeah. That's Friday Fabulous Florida. We have to vote for a favorite. We don't want to vote for a favorite. They all stand out in their own way. But sadly, it is in the bylaws of the show. So here we go. You just heard about the guy calling 911. He had suicidal thoughts that he faked up because he was looking to get a lift ultimately to Tampa, Florida, which he could do by first engaging deputies, and then they would arrest him, etc. A Florida man, not arrest him, but help him because he was in suicidal thoughts, and he goes to a mental hospital, and that's how he was going to do it. Florida man arrested after he tried to withdraw 1 cent from the bank. They don't have a transcript available, but apparently it did kind of segue into a larger amount that he wanted out of the bank. A wild video showing the tracking down of a Florida guy who was trying to evade arrest by swimming to a small island. He didn't account for the fact that the cops had a boat, and they went out there and arrested him. Florida guy uses an alligator to open a beer can. Then the internet goes wild. It's wildly viral. And the Florida man stealing Sheriff Grady Judge's pantry truck filled with $25,000 worth of food. And finally, the 4 Florida women nabbed for stealing 24 Stanley Cups, lobster, champagne, and more during a heist. We need to pick a favorite. I'll start with you, Kim.
Well, I really like the Florida job ladies, and I don't like what was done to the alligator.
Oh,
Kim, how are you?
Yeah.
I have to choose the gator because it's uniquely Florida. Yeah.
Even though you don't like it, you're saying you must
I don't
pick
like
it.
the abuse of wildlife. Using a gator to open a beer can would not happen in California.
But because it's gator, you're saying it's Florida. Okay.
That's right.
And Albert, how about you?
Yeah, the Gators actually leading in the polls right now, 34%. It's pretty close. Close second is the Florida job, but I'm going for the guy who called the cops to get a ride. You know, he said he had suicidal thoughts. It's truly a wild idea. He had to have known. He's a smart guy. He knew that there was a law that if you were have any of those feelings, they'll pick you up. So
that is true. He was. I kind of did broad stroked it, but it referred to a law that if you're having suicidal thoughts, they have to pick you up and take you to a mental facility, and then there are other various support structures there that he felt he could work to get a ride to Tampa.
I mean, on paper, Albert, it looked great. Yeah.
It kind of
perfect plan.
It means he's been there before, and he knows that, right?
Well, his mom's not picking him up anymore, so now he needs to, he needs to think it through. I like the crew. I like my crew there at the end with their Stanley Cups and the lobster and steak and the big heist. I like Americans who dream big like that. Yeah. I'm so proud of my newly adopted state every Friday, says Wes. Albert always finds the stories to make me proud. And I live in Polk County. Wow, Wes, I didn't know that. Man, there's
a reason that this place is fun.
Yeah, I guess Wes is there. Really wild. Thank you, Wes, for watching, listening, and being a supporter of the show. Thanks for the super chat, and that's Friday Fabulous Florida.
This has been Friday Fabulous Florida.
There is a gigantic alligator in my kitchen.
Y'all come back now here.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.